Hey guys, it's FallenDice, and welcome to episode 4 of FallenDice Plays Better Than BuildCraft. So here is what all the fuel I collected netted me. A little disappointed. I mean, it's actually a rather large hole, but it really didn't get down nearly as far as I had hoped it would. Definitely see a lot of iron. Didn't even come close to filling up my chests either. So, we now have a new mission. I refuse to give up on this quarry or to move on from this quarry until it is functioning like I want it to. So what we are going to do, and most of this will obviously be off camera here, we are going to dig a tunnel all the way to my very large uh, oil reserve that I discovered. And we are going to lay pipe all the way back to here so that this is constantly being filled. And then we can start running this constantly, with that constantly, this constantly. Basically, I want this thing running whenever I'm on, I want it running. And I want enough fuel for that to happen. And the only way to do that, obviously, is going to be to run this to a oil well. So, something new we got to do, we got to build an oil well, which I guess isn't really that much different from the water pump, but hey, it's new, it's an oil well. And while we're at it, we're going to look for another water source because I've been having to kind of go and use an infinite water source to fill oodles of buckets and replant the water along the sides because this pump is draining this large water reservoir. So I need something bigger. So as I'm heading over there tunneling, I know I've seen a few places where there's some really large water areas. So what we'll probably end up doing is running the water from there to a large set of pumps, and then we'll probably just use another engine over here to pump it from these reservoirs here up into the necessary areas. That way I'm not constantly having to refill this pond, which is a bit of a pain. And I don't have to take the chance of the water drying out underneath the pump and then this whole thing going boom, which would be sad because the other day I actually blew this up once already. Actually, it was right after I said that I was backing it up to go save it before I logged off, and I had forgotten that I had turned this on to refine a little bit more fuel, and didn't have the water going to it because the water was heading up there. And I'm sitting in my little cave here, and boom! I'm like, oh crap! Walked out. It just looked like a bomb had gone off in here. So reloaded it up and made sure not to make that mistake again. Also, if you haven't noticed, and I can't see how you couldn't notice, but my audio probably sounds a ton better. I went ahead and purchased myself a fancy microphone headset. So, I'm kind of excited about that. So, I will go ahead and stop recording here. I'm going to then dig my tunnels. And just before I get off, I'll let you know that I'm going to dig it down a little bit and put more of these reservoirs here, so the pipe will actually, you won't even see it. It's going to come underground. It's going to connect to this underground, and it'll be completely unseen. So I won't have to make another huge mess or deal with more pipes. So, all right. Well, I am going to get to work. I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, it took me a little bit longer, but we are ready to start our pipeline. Well, I should say finish my pipeline and install my well and start some full-time mining. While I was working on, this, I used as much fuel as I could to kind of dig down, and I don't remember what exactly it was that caused me to make the realization that I had been ignoring a important part of the BuildCraft, which was power, like not having a pump, or I mean an engine on every single item I used. So as you can see over here, let me get my wrench in place, and I've got a lot of fuel now. I have one combustion engine which now runs both my refinery and oddly enough, it runs it a whole lot more efficient. I would get this to go purple for a little bit, and then it would go red, and it would alternate, and it would be kind of jerky. Now, using the power as opposed to the pipeline, it's going full blast, and this thing just keeps filling up. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna probably have to just put another combustion engine over here to keep it going full time. But the cool part is, as you can see, the pipe is drained, and I've got it almost one of my reservoirs empty, so it's time to fill it up. Which, by the way, I'm getting kind of low. Anyway, so when it's time to fill up, I just take my handy dandy wrench. It turns it around, and of course the refinery stopped during this time, but it doesn't take very long, and it refills up my refinery. So I kind of glad I thought it, or I finally realized it, because I definitely doing this was kind of annoying. Until I can afford to make one more combustion engine, I'm still using it for the actual pumping out of the refinery over here. And I finally put a switch on there just so I didn't have to hear all the noise. And then I did the same thing over here. So now I've got power over here to my water pump. And then when I need to refuel things, I can just flip this around and then send the fuel over just like before. So yeah, it's definitely much more efficient. And I also went a lot deeper on this. I actually completely drained this empty, other than up there, and you can kind of see over there it was kind of falling in. So I dug down a few more layers, and then I filled it back up. And I hope it lasts me a while, because I really don't want to have to do this all the time. But seeing as it was only like 2 or 3 levels before, now it's 4 all the way across, I'm hoping that this will last me a while. Because I almost blew it up, the whole thing up. I'm looking at my pump, and it's orange, and I look to see that there's no water, and then I look down and see like a complete empty reservoir. But yeah, so there we are. And I pretty much got almost a full tank over there, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to shut everything here down except for the water and send it up here. And while I'm doing the next portion, I will just let my mine go back to work. So I'll show you how we do that. First part is we will just go ahead and turn this off. I have everything connected to switches now to make it nice and easy. Shuts that all down. Let's see, I don't need to fill that. So yeah, it's ready to go. All I got to do is turn the wrench, and now it's going to pump this up, and it will fill all those up there. And then I got to come over here, divert the water up to there as well. And as soon as I get fuel up there, hit my switches, and we'll be mining. You can see I've kind of prepared. I have half of the waterproof pipe laid out to my well, and it can, with the angles, it's probably about 500 to 600 pipes. And I didn't know how far in between I would need to put the golden waterproof, so what I ended up doing was, wherever I put a torch in, I left the gap there. And I'm going to go install my pump and my oil well, and then once I have all that done, then I'll go into the mine, follow it down, and we'll see at which point the oil stops moving, because I'm figuring it's kind of be like the water, or eventually at some point it'll just peter out to nothing. Then I just back up a little bit, put in one of the golden waterproofs, and that should start speeding it back up again. And then, well, follow it to the next point. And I'm trying to be conservative, because I had to go and manually mine a large portion of my underground mine to get the gold to do all this, because I had used all my gold just making my combustion engines. And with the extras, I ended up making another couple combustion engines. But I see, even then, I still only have 15 of the golden waterproof pipes. So down we go. As you can see, I put the pipe up at the top, so it's kind of like a too high. I don't really think that I'm going to run a rail over here, because I I don't know how long the oil well is going to last and if it's worth even running the railway. Not to mention it's going to take gold just to create the powered rails. So I will see you on the other end, and then we will start our oil well and see if we can't automate this oil process. So here is my oil well, and I think I took some out of it while I was, it had originally gone all the way up into this smaller pool. I've gone in and expanded it, deepened it, now that I know how quickly the water depletes. And I'm still probably going to have to come through and do some more work and really largen this out just for keeping my engine cool. Although being that it'll only be working on one, it should last longer. But yeah, so anyways, it's over here. So we're going to, I need a block. We'll put in the oil well first, and then we'll put in the water pump, and then we'll do the connection. Let's see. So I think as it goes down, well, actually, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna be powering it with oil, so I might as well just go ahead and dump these two out. And then there we go. So it goes down. That is the hole the oil well's in. Let's see, put that up there. Bring down our combustion. So what I think I will be doing, and what I learned from over there, I can power this with the conductive pipes, but I do need to have an actual engine on the pipe that I use for pumping. So I need to kind of, actually no I don't, not for here, because if it comes, I forget this, it's been a while since I did the initial. I think the way this works is this is going to just connect straight up into the pump, which means I may only need one here. I bet you I can put, you're going to be over here. Actually, no, you're not. Trying to figure out the best way to do this without having to, or that won't use nearly as much resources. So we'll go ahead and put you up here. I'm probably going to eventually, oh, good grief, eventually have to come back and refill the water, so I'm probably build the sides up. It'd be easier than digging down. So yeah, I'll put you in there and let you start reaching down to the bottom. Let's see. Give me one sec, let me plan this out here. Alright, now I remember. I do have to have this connected to both of these. Because I can't use this for the power at the same time while I'm using it on the pump. It's got to be facing one or the other, which means I will be using up more water than I want. So I'm going to keep an eye on this once I get this going, see how long it takes to completely deplete this. I might even use a stopwatch, kind of get a feel for it. Because the worst thing I want to do is to go to bed leaving all this stuff running and have it blow up on me. That would suck. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get these both powered and running. So I didn't even need the conductive pipe. So we'll use the golden waterproof. So I'm going to have to do some diverting too. So it looks like we'll have to divert this into here so that I can keep these guys filled up. This one here will automatically get oil from the pump as it works, and then we have to divert that over there so that this one will stay filled with oil while it pumps the rest down there. And then gotta send water back over here to this one. Same thing, this one will get water from the pump itself, so it's just a matter of there. That should work. I didn't bring power. I'm going to see if I can find some redstone. And I don't need redstone, I just need stone. Alright, I'm gonna take some cobble, put it in my furnace here, and then make me a couple switches. Alright, so this is my little my little mini house over here. So we got our switches, and we're gonna have to prime both of these. Should probably put it in here so I can put my switch there. I'll put my switch there. I have a bucket of oil for each of you to get us started. And there we go. And of course, it is getting dark, which makes me nervous. Alright, so we're pumping water. Don't seem to be pumping oil yet, but I am not going to try and figure this out while it's dark. So let's take a quick nap. Alright, so I figured it out. I just had to destroy the the pump and then put it back in, and then it started pumping the oil. So we're gonna send a little bit of oil over to this engine over here, just because I want it filled up. We're already filled up on this one over here, which is good. As soon as this one's completely filled up, I probably should just leave it the way it is. I think it'll, and then we'll go over here and find out how far the oil makes it. Looks like it's making it all the way, but it's definitely getting slow. So I'm gonna put one in after the water pump. I don't know if maybe it should be closer. Again, like my previous episode, I'm learning as I go here, so this is all experimenting. So if any of you out there watching this actually know the more efficient way of doing this, feel free to let me know, and I will definitely adjust my setup. But it looks like it's making it. I think I may actually go, well, honestly, I think that once it's filled up, it'll fill up this pipe here all the way, and then it'll be just like I had it turned off. So we'll take a peek at this and see what happens. I may have decided to put in the directional pipe over here, kind of like back at my main base. Oh, wow, okay. It does look like it has some kind of an effect. Not a big fan of it going up and down though. And it'll just keep going down until eventually, I guess, it hits its reservoir down there at the bottom. Because I think it's like a big long shaft going down, and eventually it comes to a large pool. And that might be why I'm getting the up and down too. It takes all the oil out of the pipe, and then eventually it runs into nothing. Stops pumping while it drops a little bit. So, let's go down my tunnel and see how far it actually made it over here. But it looks like here's where we're kind of slowing down a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in another gold. And then keep moving down. I'm most curious to see that once I get to my actual refinery, to see how quickly it fills up my piping. Because I went and took a bunch of the sand that I had gotten from my quarry, and I filled up probably 16 to 20 furnaces full of them. And here's where I'd stop putting it. So I have plenty of glass now, so if this works like I'm hoping this work, I'm probably going to go through and just kind of mine, or not mine, build like, 20, 30 storage tanks, and then kind of put most of it underground just so it's not sticking up into the sky looking, kind of ugly, and then bury the rest of it down underneath, but make it so I can completely fill it up with like an oil well. That way I won't have to leave it running all the time. Alright, so we made it. I doubt it's filling with oil yet. I'm gonna run in here, take a quick nap, and then take a look at this, and then we'll run back down the tunnel, find out where the oil is, and see how long it's taken to get here. Eventually, once it actually makes it over to here, then we'll watch it kind of to see how quickly it fills up my... Actually, it's already filling it up. Huh. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Well, I'm going to go deeper into the tunnel, catch up to where the oil is. I want to see how quickly it's making it here. Alright, so it definitely turned the corner, and it's making its way over there. And I don't think I had seen it gathering because I had actually found a break in my pipe. So it seems to be making good time. Alright, we've made it to the end. Here is my storage tank. So let's pop up out of here, and let's see if we can noticeably watch it go up. I mean, if it starts going up quick, I'll have to go and make a bunch of more storage tanks. Maybe stack them up a little bit, stack them low. Doesn't look like it's going up too much. I can see it hitting it. I think each flow is probably gonna bump it up like a little bit, so it's just gonna... Oh, there we go. Wow. I like it when I'm wrong, and it's in a good way. That's filling up pretty quick, actually. So much nicer and faster than running back and forth with buckets. You can see that all the work I had done on water is already starting to get undone. Man, it's so quick it goes through water. I hate that. I wish it was kind of like, an infinite water source where it wouldn't touch it. Although, I think I may have seen that. I'm going to laugh if just a simple 4x4 infinite water source ends up being actually infinite. That would be kind of funny. And why are you still running? And yeah, you're orange. That's not good. I really shouldn't have left you pumping, especially if you're not on and working. It didn't blow up. Lucky for me. Still pumping over here though. I must have filled up my tanks up there, because I still got fuel in those lines. So I bet you these are all three are full tanks. Yep, they are. Oh, and this is what happens when one of these ones gets full. The ones that where it goes over the top, it just keeps moving, but these ones, it tries to divert them even when it's full. So I may have to rethink my method for how I set my chests up, because I can then kind of go back here and dump in the excess, and it'll work good for a while. Or I can just, since it's already full, or once it gets full, I can kill it like I did over here. This was a full one, and then it just kind of starts to bypass it. Key question is, I'm waiting to get some gold ore, because I want to put the gold ore in my diamond pipe so that it diverts it. But I haven't seen any yet. So it's just... What the heck? That's a glitch. It's definitely getting down there. Eventually I'll get down low enough to start getting some gold. That's weird. Glitching out. Left two things hanging down there. And I eventually have to go through and kind of go around the sides to clean out. Like I see all kinds of iron just on the sides here. but out of curiosity, just in the time we were talking about this, let's see how much oil arrived. It's weird how it does to water. Nice. It's filling up. I think I had at least one more storage tank in here. I did. So I'll probably add that in just because I want to get as much as I can out of this before it stops. There we go. And I know for a fact that I can connect storage tanks to each other, but I have to put a pump between them. So that's for another project for another day, where I probably redesign this whole section over here. Maybe bring in some obsidian to kind of put around the different areas, so if something overheats and explodes, it shouldn't affect the other things around it. But anyway, so that's project number 1 complete, and I like it. Definitely more automation. I can, with all the fuel that's in there and over here, and I at least have enough water, I can go ahead and leave myself pumping all night tonight, I think. I'll go ahead and save my world again, just in case. I love how that looks, to put the wire there. But yeah, I'll save my world just in case, let this run, and hopefully eventually we start getting down into the level where I can start picking up some gold and some redstone and some diamonds out of the mine here. Well, this is why we back up. It would appear I forgot to turn that on. I just turned it on just now, but I'd forgotten to turn on my water pump. And so obviously my quarry went boom. On the plus side, it would appear that my quarry is built over a slime chunk. So when I'm done, I'll have a use for the large hole. Just have to make a stairway down there. So anyway, I'm gonna head over to my oil well and take a peek and see how it turned out. See if it ran out of water and blew up. And then we'll go reset the world with my backup, and then I'll just leave it running for a little while just to get some more goods out of my quarry. Now that I'll understand how the whether or not my oil well needs more water or not. That's interesting as well. Looks like this blew up, but it definitely didn't blow up because of lack of water. So I'm gonna have to do a little more research before we are able to leave this thing running automated. Alright, so here we are, raining, but figured we'd go ahead and put an end to the today's video here. So Code Green 17, someone on YouTube that has given me a couple messages, you know, some tips and advice, but he let me know that these wood engines will not explode, which is something I was actually kind of worried about, since there was no way to cool them, and I thought that, you know, if there was nothing there, they might explode. But he informed me that, and I've been letting these run, and you can see it goes from orange to red, but it keeps them going at a higher rate, and it's definitely enough to pump the liquids. So all I really need now is just to have these 2 combustions that I'm using to power my 2 pumps, the water pump and the fuel pump. Sorry. So I've got this running. We'll take a quick run up to the quarry, and we can see how far we got with the fuel that I had made, and it's actually pretty good. I think I'm down to like level 20 now. I've actually started to get a little bit of gold. I got some lapis. I've actually collected quite a few slime balls, a lot of iron and coal. I kind of move everything else around and move it as I get it to this one. When I make my next quarry, I think I'm going to try for a better design on how maybe I'll have like 2 diamonds at the beginning for those items, and everything else just kind of pass through, so that, you know, it's easier to find the good stuff. I already went through and took out pretty much all the dirt I'd found. I don't think I really need to keep that. But yeah, so here we are. We actually are quite a ways down. You can see I kind of a little stairway going down to get towards the bottom, so I can hack at the slimes and fun stuff. So I'm thinking, as soon as I've got this depleted all the way down to base, I'm probably going to move my next one over here, and I'm going bigger. Now that I'm understanding how this works, I'm thinking that I can probably make a setup. And also too, I almost forgot. If you look over here, I am using just a simple infinite water source. Now there is one thing I did find or discover about this, and luckily it didn't cause an explosion, but you cannot put a gold waterproof pipe here at the beginning, because it definitely gave it more power and I was getting a lot more up, but it actually was pumping so fast that it actually drained this, in about 3 seconds. It actually would I don't know if it sped up how fast it pumped, but it was actually doing it before. As you kind of see how it goes when it takes it one of the corners of water, the other ones fill in as like the infinite does, but it was doing it so fast that it wasn't giving it time enough for that, and then it would end up having 2 spots open, and it would basically deplete it. So it is enough to keep 3 combustion chambers or combustion engines running at full optimum. When it was orange, it probably would have taken me 20 minutes to get it back to green, but it doesn't go backwards. I mean, if I started at green, it will stay at green and they will stay full of water. So this setup here will fully cool 3 engines. So what I'll end up doing is when I move this back, I'm just going to make a separate combustion engine just for cooling those engines up there, and I'll put it back there. We'll have the one pumping fuel 24. Well, I say 24, but for the entire time I'm on, it'll be pumping up there. So it'll be off in the back, and it'll just be running. And then I'll still have this setup going where I can keep this running all the time to continue to stockpile fuel. And I might even put this underground. I'm thinking that after I'm completed with this, I'm going to put this whole system underground with a large section of storage tanks, just so it's easier to work with without having to deal with mobs and stuff. I've already gotten blown up once by a creeper. So anyway, I think that is a good episode here. I don't think I'm going to head over to the refinery because I haven't really changed that much. However, I will be changing that now that I understand the infinite water source. I will go back to that again and set that up. It makes things a whole lot easier. I can probably get away with 1 engine. Once I get that done, I'll probably go back and show something like that in my next episode. So yeah, I think I'm almost done using quarries and fuel and stuff as an episode. I'm about to start building now. And I'll think a little bit about what I want my first major project to be. I'm still leaning towards my factory over there. So we'll see what happens. I gotta make a couple design decisions on what I want to use for materials and stuff like that. So thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this, please rate and comment. I've actually been getting some comments and I'm really enjoying the interaction, so please keep those comments coming. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Will be putting a link here to subscribe on the video, as well as I'm learning the annotations and stuff for this, I'll be putting links to go into some of my other videos and stuff like that. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.